They thought they were hiring a cheap James Brown impersonator off Craigslist for an 81-year-old dying woman's last wish. The guy showed up in a brown suit, holding a microphone, ready to sing a few songs for $100. But 5 minutes into "It's a man's world," he stopped singing. He pulled out his phone. He made a call. And what happened next turned a dying woman's final 48 hours into 6 more weeks of life, and created a story so incredible that even the hospice chaplain said it felt like a miracle. This is August 2005. Martha Thompson is dying in Serenity Hospice in Augusta, Georgia, about 20 miles from where James Brown was born. She's been in hospice for 2 weeks, and the doctors have just given her daughter, Patricia, the news nobody wants to hear. 48 hours, maybe less. Martha's body is shutting down. The cancer that started in her lungs has spread everywhere. She's barely conscious most of the time, breathing through an oxygen mask, her 81-year-old body finally surrendering after months of fighting. Patricia is sitting in the hospice family room, crying, when a nurse named Sandra sits down next to her. "I know this is impossibly hard," Sandra says gently, "but is there anything at all, that might bring your mother some comfort in her final hours?" Patricia thinks about it. Her mother has been unconscious for most of the past 3 days. But earlier that morning, during one of her brief lucid moments, Martha had said something. Just 3 words, barely audible: James Brown singing. Martha Thompson had loved James Brown her entire life. Growing up in Augusta, she'd seen him perform at the old Imperial Theater back in the 1960s. She had every record. She'd driven 6 hours to see him in Atlanta 3 times. When Martha's husband died 15 years ago, Patricia found her mother in the living room at 2 a.m., playing Try Me on repeat, crying. She loves James Brown, Patricia tells the nurse. She always has. But obviously we can't. She trails off. James Brown is alive and still performing in 2005. But he's 72 years old, touring internationally, and definitely not available to visit a dying woman in Augusta. Sandra nods understandingly. What about a tribute artist? Someone who impersonates James Brown. It might bring her some peace to hear those songs one more time. Patricia hasn't thought of that. How would I even find someone? Try Craigslist, Sandra suggests, or Facebook. There are performers who do this kind of thing. That afternoon, while her mother sleeps, Patricia posts on Craigslist, looking for James Brown impersonator. Hospice visit, will pay $100 cash. Need someone today or tomorrow? She gets 3 responses. 2 want more money. The third is from someone named Tommy Jenkins, who says simply, "I'll come tomorrow afternoon. No charge. Just give me the address." The next day, Tuesday, August 16th, Patricia is sitting by her mother's bedside when Tommy Jenkins arrives at 2 p.m. He's maybe 50 years old, black, wearing a brown suit that looks like it's seen better days. He's carrying a portable speaker and a microphone. "You must be Patricia," he says, extending his hand. "I'm Tommy. I do James Brown tribute shows. Small events, birthday parties, that kind of thing. Your post said your mother is a fan." Patricia's eyes fill with tears. She's dying. The doctors say she has maybe a day left. She's been unconscious most of the time. But this morning she whispered that she wanted to hear James Brown singing. "I know it's a long shot, but I thought maybe..." Tommy nods, looking at Martha lying in the hospital bed. She's tiny, her body wasted by cancer, her breathing shallow and labored. "What's her name, Martha?" "Martha Thompson." "Martha," Tommy says softly, "I'm going to sing for you, okay? Some James Brown, just like you wanted." He sets up his speaker, tests the microphone. Then he starts singing, It's a man's world. His voice is good, not perfect, but full of soul. He has some of James Brown's mannerisms down, the way he moves, the way he holds the microphone. Patricia watches her mother. At first there's no response. Martha's eyes stay closed, her breathing unchanged. But then, about 2 minutes into the song, something shifts. Martha's right hand, which has been lying still on the blanket, twitches slightly. Her eyelids flutter. Tommy sees it too. He keeps singing, moving closer to the bed. By the time he finishes the song, Martha's eyes are open. Just barely, but open. She's looking at Tommy, and tears are rolling down her cheeks. Tommy stops singing. He stands there for a moment, and Patricia can see that he's crying too. "Ma'am," he says to Martha, his voice breaking, "you've got good taste in music." Martha's lips move. Patricia leans in close to hear. "Is it really you?" Martha whispers so quiet that Patricia almost misses it. Patricia starts to explain. "No, Mama, it's an impersonator. Someone who sounds like James Brown." But Tommy holds up his hand, stopping her. He's staring at Martha with an expression Patricia can't quite read. Then he pulls out his phone. "Excuse me for just a minute," he says. He walks out into the hallway, and Patricia can hear him talking urgently to someone, though she can't make out the words. 5 minutes later, Tommy comes back into the room. His whole demeanor has changed. He looks serious, almost reverent. "Mrs. Thompson," he says, "I need to tell you something. I'm not just a James Brown impersonator. I actually know him. I used to work for him back in the day. Did some backup singing, helped with equipment, that kind of thing. And I just called some old friends from the James Brown organization. They're making some calls." Patricia doesn't understand what's happening. "What do you mean, making calls?" Tommy looks at her. "Ma'am, your mother deserves better than a $100 Craigslist impersonator. She deserves the real thing." 30 minutes later, 3 more people arrive at Serenity Hospice. 2 men and a woman, all in their 50s or 60s. They're carrying instrument cases. Tommy introduces them. "This is Marcus, he played bass for James Brown in the 90s. This is Lisa, backup singer for the Soul Generals. And this is Roy Neat, drums. We all worked for Mr. Brown at different times. When I told them about Mrs. Thompson, they dropped everything to come." Patricia is crying now. "I don't understand. Why would you all do this?" Marcus sets down his bass. "Because Mr. Brown taught us something important. You take care of the people who take care of you. And Mrs. Thompson has been taking care of James Brown's legacy her whole life by loving his music. So we take care of her." They set up quickly in Martha's room boards, bass, a small electronic drum pad, microphone. The hospice staff is standing in the hallway, watching. Word has spread through the facility. Other families, other patients who are mobile, are gathering outside Martha's door. Tommy counts them off, and they start playing Try Me. But this isn't a cheap Craigslist performance anymore. This is real. These are actual James Brown musicians playing the songs they recorded with him, singing the backup vocals they performed on tour. The sound fills Martha's small room and spills out into the hallway. Martha is fully awake now, more awake than she's been in days. She's trying to sit up. Patricia helps her, adjusting the pillows behind her back. The musicians play Please, Please, Please. They play I Got You, I Feel Good. They play Think. Between songs they tell Martha stories. Stories about being on the road with James Brown, about recording sessions, about the time James made them rehearse for 8 hours straight, because one note wasn't perfect. Martha is smiling, actually smiling, for the first time in weeks. And she's singing along, more not loudly, her voice barely a whisper, but she knows every word. They play for 45 minutes. When they finish, the hallway erupts in applause. Hospice patients, families, nurses, doctors, everyone has been listening. Tommy kneels down next to Martha's bed. "Mrs. Thompson, there's one more thing. Mr. Brown, James Brown himself. He wanted me to tell you something. He knows you're here, and he knows you've been a fan your whole life. And he says, thank you. Thank you for loving his music. Thank you for understanding what he was trying to say through those songs. And he says to tell you, soul is forever." Martha's crying, but she's also laughing. Tell him his music saved my life more times than he knows." "I'll tell him," Tommy says. That night, the hospice doctor examines Martha. Her vital signs are stronger than they were yesterday. Her oxygen levels are up. She's alert and conversational. "I don't understand it," the doctor admits to Patricia. "Yesterday I would have said she had hours left. Today, she's improved. It doesn't make medical sense." Patricia knows exactly what happened. Music happened. Joy happened. Being seen and valued and celebrated happened. Her mother had been ready to die yesterday, but today she had a reason to live a little longer. Martha lives for 6 more weeks after that day. Not 6 hours. 6 weeks. She's conscious and alert for most of it. She talks to her grandchildren. She tells Patricia stories about her life that Patricia had never heard before. She listens to James Brown albums every single day. Tommy and the other musicians visit 3 more times. They don't perform peas. They just sit with Martha, talk with her, share more stories. They become friends. On September 28, 2005, Martha Thompson passes away peacefully in her sleep. She's 81 years old. She's lasted 6 weeks beyond what doctors predicted. At her funeral, Patricia plays "It's a man's world." And she tells everyone about the miracle of that August afternoon, about the Craigslist post, about Tommy, about the musicians who showed up to honor a dying woman they'd never met. Tommy and Marcus and Lisa and Roy come to the funeral. They sit in the back, not wanting to intrude. But after the service, Patricia finds them. "I need to know," she says. "Did James Brown really know about my mother?" Tommy is quiet for a moment. Then he nods. "I called his manager that day from the hospice, told him what was happening. Mr. Brown was in California, about to do a show, but he told his manager to get word to anyone from the organization who was in Georgia. He said, 'That woman loved my music, her whole life. We're going to love her back in her final days.'" Patricia breaks down crying. It gave her 6 more weeks. The doctors can't explain it, but I can. You gave her joy. You gave her meaning. You reminded her that her life mattered. Her life did matter, Marcus says. And so did her love for the music. That's what Mr. Brown always said. The people who love the music, they're part of it too. They're part of the soul. The story of Martha Thompson spread through the hospice community in Augusta. Nurses and doctors talked about it. They'd seen a lot of things in their careers, but they'd never seen someone rally for 6 weeks after being given 48 hours to live. Some called it a medical anomaly. Some called it the power of music. The hospice chaplain, a practical woman who'd been doing this work for 30 years, called it what she believed it was, a miracle. Not the parting the seas kind of miracle. Not the walking on water kind, but the quiet kind. The kind where human beings show up for each other, where music reminds someone why life is worth living, where an 81-year-old dying woman gets 6 more weeks to say goodbye because someone cared enough to make a phone call. Tommy Jenkins never charged Patricia for that visit. He didn't charge for any of the return visits either. When Patricia tried to pay him, he refused. Mrs. Thompson paid, he said. She paid by loving the music her whole life. That's worth more than money. James Brown died about a year later, on Christmas Day 2006. When Tommy heard the news, he thought about Martha Thompson, and he thought about what Mr. Brown had taught him. Not just about music, but about humanity, about showing up for people, about using whatever gifts you have to make someone's life a little better. The lesson of Martha Thompson's story isn't complicated. It's not about fame or fortune or grand gestures. It's about a Craigslist post for $100 that turned into something extraordinary because someone cared enough to make a phone call. It's about musicians who dropped everything to play for a dying woman they'd never met. It's about music having power that medicine can't measure or predict. And it's about the fact that sometimes, in our final days, what we need most isn't just comfort or peace. It's joy. It's being seen. It's knowing that our love for something, even something as simple as soul music, mattered to someone. Martha Thompson got that. And it gave her 6 more weeks of life. If this story of music's healing power touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that small acts of kindness can create miracles. Have you ever witnessed music change someone's final days? Tell us your story in the comments. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the moments when music became medicine.